Ready to rock today, Fire Nation. JLD here, and welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network with great shows like I Digress. Today, we'll be breaking down intentionality, how to get on your path. To drop these value bombs, I've brought Finnian Kelly into EO Fire Studios. Finnian is a world-renowned speaker on intentionality, a philosophy and lifestyle that helps everyday people create extraordinary futures. Also dubbed as the business mystic, creator of Intentionality.com, and an undercover angel. Fire Nation, today we'll be chatting about what the heck intentionality is. We'll talk about living an extraordinary life, your biggest hurdle and why you might not be doing that, and so much more when we get back from thanking our sponsors. If you're generating 7 to 8 figures plus from your website and you're not doing conversion optimization, you're leaving tons of revenue on the table. Visit conversionfanatics.com for a free proposal today and tell them EOF sent you, because traffic without conversions is just sad. The My First Million podcast features famous guests, discusses how companies made their first million, and brainstorms new business ideas based on the hottest trends and opportunities in the marketplace. One recent ep was all about how venture capitalists make money. Listen to My First Million wherever you get your podcasts. Finnian, say what's up to Fire Nation and share something that you believe about becoming successful that most people disagree with.
What's up, Fire Nation? It's awesome to be here, John. And I believe being successful doesn't have to take time, or does it have to be hard? If you believe it will be, then it will be. I actually have a principle of intentionality, which is about gaining exponential results by leveraging energy instead of time. And something which I really think about a lot is this Zen proverb. I'm a big meditator, and there's a Zen proverb which says that if you don't have time to meditate for 1 hour, then you need to meditate for 2. And I try to let that sink in with people, because the idea that when you meditate, you effectively collapse time because your impact through the day is so much higher, because you're so much clearer, you're responding rather than reacting. And I'm really seeing that right now. I'm working less than ever. However, I'm creating more than ever because I'm focused on only doing activities that bring me energy and staying in my lane, which I think you've been one of the greatest ambassadors of that for a long time.
I appreciate that, brother. I really do. And Fire Nation, man, a lot of wisdom is coming at you today. You've already heard a value bomb or two. And as I mentioned in the introduction, we're talking about intentionality. We want to get you, Fire Nation, on your path. So, Finnian, what the heck is intentionality, and why are you so passionate about it?
I liked how you framed that, because it's something which it's a bit of a buzzword at the moment, and people are talking about it, but I don't feel like most people really know what it is. And the way I've defined it is defining how you want to feel and then taking deliberate action towards it. So it's about becoming the driver of your life instead of a passenger. It's about finding your path rather than being on the path of social conditioning. And I'm super excited and passionate about it because it's really helped me feel these feelings which I've been searching for so long in my life, which is freedom, peace, and joy. And it's also led me to one of the most creative and prosperous periods of my life. For those people who think, oh, this is just a spiritual element, this actually has been so powerful in my business as well. And the big thing to remember with intentionality is to understand that there's something called this universal field that is basically information, and it governs all of us. And we can tap into this field in order to create anything we really desire. And the field is both a scientific and spiritual concept. And I like that because I'm a scientist first. I have a maths and physics degree and a master's in science as well. But I've got this big spiritual element. I think it's time that we combine the two. And if I'll sum up the field, because that's a bit of a term which is like, well, what is this field thing?
Yeah.
I just believe it's energy waiting to be manifested into form. And ultimately, everything transmits and receives information through the field. And for a lot of entrepreneurs, this may sound very left field. I just said a stupid pun then, actually. But there have been numerous scientists that have supported this research and evidence. I even think Einstein once said that there's no new place in this new type of physics for both field and matter, for the field is the only reality. So it's real. and the universe is always expanding and always giving. So all we have to do is, if we align ourselves to the field and the universe, then effectively we're always going to be expanding and receiving as well. And that's why intentionality matters, because it helps people find their path, get on the path, and stay on their path.
So speaking of intentionality, Finnian, who specifically do you choose to work with? Why do you intentionally choose these individuals?
It's a great question. So something I've learned over life is it's really important to identify who you like working with and who you can add most value to, because then you just get this great leverage, and it's also more enjoyable. I imagine that's why you've picked working with entrepreneurs. So yeah. I work with high-performing leaders and really people who have this desire to want more out of their life. And it's not more in materialism. They just want to live an extraordinary life, and they're focused on feeling better. My two main focus avatars are men who want to get more into integrity, and accomplished women who are on the second or third stage of life, who are really tired of being defined by their roles as a career woman or a mother and want to rebirth into a new way of being. And I'm also really, as you're probably seeing in Puerto Rico right now, I'm getting quite into the crypto industry, and I'm really excited about the future here. So I'm exploring and working with some great companies there. And ultimately, why I love working with these people is because they're focused on changing the world, and they really want to make an impact. However, I truly believe that we need to stop focusing on changing the world and just focus on changing ourselves first. Because if you heal yourself, you heal the world. So I always focus on encouraging everyone to focus on their self-healing, then bring it to their leadership team, and then roll it across the company. And pretty soon, intentionality is organically spreading through your customer, supplier, and family and community. And when you combine this with a smart business strategy, you're really set for exponential impact, which I think is just super rad.
Intentionality, Fire Nation. Are you using this in the same way that Finnian is? I mean, you hear me end every single episode of Entrepreneurs on Fire with that. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And guess what? For a lot of us, that is our clients. That is our customers. That is people who are coaching and mentoring and doing all these things. That maybe is our coach. So make sure you are being intentional about those things and heal yourself, heal the world. I love that phrase. Start with within, Fire Nation. You believe love, Finnian, is a core focus of your purpose, your vision, and your work. Explain why.
This took me a while to really lean into, because love, we've been sort of conditioned over time that love is a weak feeling. It's emotional, and that fear is a really powerful motivator. And I can definitely tell you, in the first sort of 9 years of my entrepreneurial journey, there was a lot of fear built in, and that was motivating me, and it was driving me to have a certain level of success until it wasn't. Often what got you there won't get you to the next place, and I can definitely tell you that fear enabled my sort of life to come crashing down for a period of time. So we think of fear as a great motivator, but if you actually look at, there's a guy called Dr. Hawkins, who he has a great book about power versus force, and he looks at the different vibrational frequencies of different emotions, and fear is a very low vibrational frequency, where love is a high vibrational frequency. And if we make decisions from a place of fear, the outcomes will never fulfill us or bring us sustained positive emotions, because that core negative belief that is driving the fear will still be there. And my core negative belief was that I'll be abandoned. So even though I created all this wealth, I created a perfect life, eventually I still didn't feel like I was safe, and I ended up manifesting this sort of situation where I was abandoned in my life. So I want to give you a great example of this, because I've been working with this amazing company. I work with this really great fast scaling media company. I work with their leadership team. I first worked with their founder, then worked with their integrator, and then worked with the leadership team. And one of our products is called this love path. And it's this path of how to have a really intentional and extraordinary relationship. So we've understood about these prenuptial financial agreements in relationships. That's almost a fear-based methodology. It's well, if this goes wrong, what happens? And I'm okay about them, but what about actually planning how to have an extraordinary relationship? And let's look at what are all the things in a relationship that could end up affecting us. Well, we don't have shared values. We're not sure what we're working towards. How do we communicate? How do we handle conflict? So I've been doing this with individual partners, and this company was super I just was so impressed with them. I was inspired with them. The founder, she said, look, I'm now bringing in my integrator to be a partner of the company. And this is effectively, I'm going to spend more time with her than my own intimate relationship. I want to have a love path for us as leaders of the company. So we spent a few days together in this awesome resort in Mexico, and we navigated this whole process for them to really design a relationship that would be built around love. And one of the awesome things that came out of it was that they wanted to share this love with their team. They didn't want to just keep it for themselves. How do we share this with the team? And they decided one way to do that would be to create a hugging culture. Now, they've already seen the benefits of this because oxytocin, that chemical, that love hormone that gets released, is infectious. And people get this oxytocin high and start threading through their company. Now, that's pretty amazing when you think about it, because right now in the modern day world, what's happening in the workplace, we're shying away from any touch or anything that could be considered crossing the boundaries. And I just love that they've leaned into love instead of fear. And because of that, really now they're getting this great peace and joy within the company, which aligns with intentionality number one, which is choose love instead of fear, and you'll experience more peace and joy. So that's a really inspiring part of how we can just lean more into love. And a little thing that I often say to myself in relationships is, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And that just helps me back off my ego and fear and lean into this love place. And I can tell you, it's a lot easier in life when you do that.
So much that I loved about that, Fire Nation, but I want to circle back to fear worked for me until it didn't. I love that phrase because I think it applies to so many of us. I mean, it can get you only so far, and then it's going to become destructive. And I love the fact that when you focus on love, that can just have impact on every aspect of your life. And we have so much more coming up on this topic and more, Fire Nation, when we get back from thanking our sponsors. The new year is here, and my guess is that you have big goals set for you and your sales team over the coming months. From new projects to bringing in more leads, a new year can often feel like a totally new start. But let's not forget the most important part, arming your team with the best tools so they can focus on giving your customers the best experience possible. And this starts with getting ahead of the learning curve so that new challenges turn into new ways to grow. With new features dedicated to helping your sales team improve your customer experience, HubSpot is on a mission to help millions of companies grow better, starting with yours. Conversion Intelligence Tools helps your teams get real-time insight into calls with automatic recording, transcription, and call analysis. With more visibility into customer conversions, coaching and customer feedback becomes that much easier. Plus, easy share meeting links let customers see availability and allow them to book meetings with you, all from the HubSpot platform, which cuts out the endless cycle of scheduling emails. Learn more about how you can transform your customer experience with a HubSpot CRM platform at HubSpot.com. How many marketing experiments have you done in the last 4 weeks? How about the last year? Chances are your answer is none. But if you're generating 7 to 8 figures plus from your website and you're not doing conversion optimization, then you're leaving a ton of revenue on the table. With the new year here, it's a perfect time to make it happen, because know this, you won't scale to the next level and you're going to get your lunch eaten by the competition in the next 12 months if you don't start optimizing. Lucky for us, our sponsor, Conversion Fanatics, runs thousands of experiments every year for clients like Clorox, Burt's Bees, NBC Sports, Golf Channel, HarperCollins, ClickFunnels, and many more, and they want to do it for you too. Conversion Fanatics optimizes your site for you so you can get more customers, scale up your traffic faster, and see an increase in revenue. Best part is they make it super easy. They handle everything. Go to conversionfanatics.com for a free proposal today and tell them EOF sent you, because traffic without conversions is just sad. That's conversionfanatics.com. Finnian, you've had a lot of experience in leadership as an Army officer. Thank you for your service. You founded 3 multi-million-dollar companies, and you were the chapter president in the Entrepreneurs Organization. So what is your number one takeaway from all of these wonderful experiences?
When we think about it, companies are built by people, and we are, as leaders or owners of a company, we're trying to instill a vision, a strategy, and through that, then we try to empower people to get results. And ultimately, it all depends on our communication ability. If we don't communicate in a clear way that people can understand, then we're going to have misalignments. We're going to have confusion. And we're also going to potentially be in a place where there's hidden expectations rather than agreements. And that's something I love to talk about, is expectations are one way, agreements are two way. So we need to have a clear communication method which makes sure that we have alignment, safety, and no confusion. So something which I teach everyone I work with when I speak, when I work one-on-one coaching, when I do retreats, is this really sweet communication method. I call it the 5-step intentionality communication method.